Hey Blue Table fans! Today we are going to talk about the care and feeding of your Crimson Hunter, which is the new flyer for the 6th edition Eldar army. Now, if you don't play Eldar, this still is of interest to you because you're likely to play against them, and you don't want to put up with any Eldar shenanigans. So we're going to talk about how it works and what the pluses and minuses of the Crimson Hunter are. So I'm not going to spend any time talking about flyers in general. I'm going to assume that the viewer knows that. I have some Black Templars set up here to show possibly what some of the strengths of the vehicle are. First off, the Crimson Hunter has two profiles. It has one which is standard that has ballistic skill 4, and then you can upgrade the vehicle to have an Exarch who is ballistic skill 5. And personally, I would always get the ballistic skill 5. Totally worth it. Absolutely a ton of fun to be hitting on 2s. It's very depressing for your opponent. Now, the Crimson Hunter has the, whichever form, whether you get the Exarch or not, does have what's called Vector Dancer. So a flyer can make up to a 90-degree turn at the beginning of its move, and then it moves 18 to 36 inches, and then it has to shoot. So as you can see, a regular flyer really could not get any targets in this particular situation. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true. Only if you turn 90 degrees that way and flew off into the blue. But Vector Dancer allows you to make 2 turns up to 90 degrees in the movement phase, one at the beginning and one at the end. Now, if you choose to use the Vector Dancer power, where you move at the end, you cannot move flat out in the subsequent movement phase. All right, so Vector Dancer allows a flyer to make a 90-degree move. So this would just be one example. 90-degree move, move 18 inches, and then make another 90-degree move. Now, this makes a flyer with this rule incredibly flexible. It's very hard for them to have to get off of, to go off the board not intentionally. So, for example, let's say you're trying to attack this vehicle in the side armor. You would simply turn, move about 20 inches, and then make a 90-degree turn like that. And so you really could, do a move where you went like this, and then that, and then this, and then that. So, you can stay in a relatively tight area. Yep, turn. Yep, absolutely. Okay. So that's Vector Dancer. That's one of the rules that the Crimson Hunter comes with standard. All right, the next special rule that a Crimson Hunter has is Sky Hunter. Now, this is a rule special to the Crimson Hunter, and Sky Hunter means that when it shoots against another flyer or a vehicle with a flyer type, it re-rolls glancing and penetrating hits. It re-rolls armor penetration rolls that don't result in a glancing or penetrating hit. So it's kind of like re-roll to wounds against other flyers. So let me just give you an example of how this works. So let's say the Crimson Hunter is shooting at a Valkyrie that's flying, which is, and let's say it's armor 12. So let's give it kind of a not so great scenario. So first off, all its weapons are strength 8. Now some of them have lance, but that won't count in this case. So let's roll to hit, and we'll get all hits. And that's not unusual for a 2-up. However, it is relatively likely there's more than a 50% chance that you'll get at least one 1. So let's discount that. So it's strength 8, so you need 4 ups to glance. So in this case, that would cause a glancing hit and 2 penetrating hits, which would be fantastic. But as you can tell, that's a really above average roll. Let's just roll them again. Okay, great. Now that's more middle of the road. So this, you would actually re-roll that and in this case you would convert it to 2 penetrating hits and a glancing hit. And of course that would be destroyed. That would be 3 hull points peeled off. So let's just do a couple of runs and just see how it works. Okay, so volley number 1, that's 3 hits, 4 ups to glance. So re-roll the 2 that weren't glances, so you'd get 2 penetrating hits out of that. Let's roll the results on those. Yeah, so that would be pretty devastating. Okay. Also, in fact, those 2 5s would be explosions because all the weapons on the Crimson Hunter are AP2. It has a pulse laser. I'll get into this in just a minute. It has a pulse laser, which is strength 8 AP2, heavy 2, and the bright lances, which are strength 8 AP2, heavy 1, but it has 2 of them. And in fact, let's take a look at what that looks like. So here's the weapons. Here's the pulse laser and the 2 bright lances. All right, let me get that back on the stand. So all right, let's do another volley. So this would be 4 hits, and that would result in, now again, so there's 3 glances and a penetrating hit. Okay, volley number, so, and this is versus AV12. So you can imagine AV10 would be 2 ups, basically. Not basically, it would be 2 ups. So there's 3 hits, and you would have 2 penetrating hits, and then re-roll that and not get it. So you'd have 2 pens. Let's roll the results on that. A 1 and a 6, so that would be exploded yet again. All right, let's roll it one more time. Okay, so that's 3 hits, and that would be 3-0, but you would re-roll because of Sky Hunter, and that would just be 1 glance. So as you can see, a Crimson Hunter really is the ideal vehicle to take out other flyers. Okay, we're going to talk about the 3rd special rule for the Crimson Hunter, besides Sky Hunter and Vector Dancer. Might note that Vector Dancer is the only one out of the 3 that's in the rule book that's a standard upgrade. The other one is a Perfect Strike. Now you only get Perfect Strike if you purchased the Exarch upgrade. And this is another reason why pretty much you just got to get, if you're going to get it at all, get the Exarch. All right, so now we're going to talk about the 3rd power of the Crimson Hunter, which is Perfect Strike. That now only the Exarch gets it, and that gives his precision shots are on a 5+ rather than a 6-up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this unit of Black Templars here. So lots of specialist weaponry in there. Let me just give an example of a scenario where you would need this. Is you got a guy with a power fist in there, and that is bad news for your Wraith Knight, who will have to plow through these guys for a turn, and or possibly more even, and until he finally gets to the power fist guy. And boy, I have definitely been there. So we want to get rid of the power fist. So let's go ahead and just do some sample rolls here and see how it works. Now again, the Lance special rule really isn't going to come into play here. So here it comes. I need a 2-up. So here I would just get 4 hits. So let's go ahead and resolve those 4 hits on these guys out in the open. And that is going to be 3 guys just toast. And that is not bad. So by the way, that is another way that you can use the Crimson Hunter, because he's extremely flexible. So let's say the Crimson Hunter starts, let me just pan out just a little bit. So starts over here. With Vector Dancer, you could move this way, turn 90 degrees, and now only be 2 guys away from getting your intended target. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 ups to hit, that's 3 hits. 2 ups to wound, that's 3 wounds. So if we go to the unit here, we will go ahead and take off 1, 2, and then the power fist guy would be toast. And so The Crimson Hunter really is aptly named. It is a hunter. It has extreme maneuverability. It can use that in order to get to where it needs to go. All right, so let's go ahead and roll that again just for kicks. So let's say we roll to hit. So a 5, so you'd say, all right, I've got 3 hits, plus I have a precision shot, so I'm going to put the 5 on the Power Fist guy. Now, he's not a character, so he can't allocate it, but let's say he was. Let's say he was a sergeant, and so he still could do a look out, sir roll and allocate it to somebody else, but it's a 50-50 chance. And if you get multiple precision strikes, well, then that's just game over, man. Okay, so let's do another run just for kicks here, and let's this time assume that there is an independent character in here. There's an independent character whose toughness is 4 or less, so that's instant death unless they have an invulnerable. All right, let's move on. And you know what? In fact, let's try and get this captain out of here. Here we go. So 2 ups to hit. So that's 3 hits. 5 ups for precision strike. So that is no precision strike. So let's do another one. We'll do 3 volleys. That's 2 hits, 5 ups. Oh, that's a whole lot of nothing. Okay, next one. Yeah, a lot less reliable than blowing up a flyer. 4 hits, and that's no precision strikes. All right, let's just do one more, see if we get anything. All right, 4 hits and no precision strikes. All right, well, as you can see, this isn't as reliable, especially because an independent character will be able to pass it off on a 2+. But it is a nice bonus feature, and as you can tell, the Crimson Hunter is well worth its points just with that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to other options. And that is, first off, it can be upgraded to an Exarch. And you can also give it, instead of bright lances on the wings here, you can give it, all right, so you can replace the bright lances with star cannons for free. Personally, I think for the Crimson Hunter's role, it's really best served to use the bright lances, because even on infantry with its picking out precision strike ability, perfect strike ability, yeah, that's also confusing. Precision shot, precision strike, and perfect strike. Those all mean 3 different things. All right, so really the star cannon is not necessarily the best, but if you're going up against toughness 3, then star cannons might not be too bad, because with all those rolls, that's a lot of precision strikes. In fact, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, that might not be such a bad option. Let me go get some more dice. Let's try the same thing. Let's say it's a giant horde of orc boys, and you really got to just extricate that power fist. So let's go ahead with the 2 star cannons are going to be 3 shots each, and they're going to hit on 2 pluses. So there is 4 hits, and it's going to be strength 6, AP 2. So an orc, and in fact a typical infantry isn't going to have toughness more than 4. So let's go ahead and roll that. So there's 2 precision shots. So the knob would try and pass those off on 4-ups, which he would succeed in this case. But let's say it were 50-50 and one of them did hit him. And so that would basically wound, and that would be game over for that guy. Oh, and never mind that you still have the pulse laser for 2, so 1 hit, and that would be 1 precision strike there. Pass off. No, it doesn't pass off, and so that guy is toast. Let's roll it again. So 8 shots. Wow, that is some good math. So 1 miss. And remember, the black ones are strength 8, but it's all 2 up to wound. Again, this is the orc boys example. So here you would have 1 precision strike, 4 guys dead. Pass off? No. So the knob would be take a wound. In fact, I think knobs have 2 wounds now that I think about it, but you definitely get the idea. All right, let's move on. Spent too much time on that. Okay, so you can get night vision. I won't spend a lot of time on that. These are upgrades for the Exarch. So night vision, or you can get marksman's eye. So marksman's eye is actually an Eldar Exarch psychic power. Excuse me, Exarch power, not a psychic power. and that is that it makes precision shots on a 5-up. So you do have to buy that 5-up precision strike. All right, folks, that is the Crimson Hunter, and it's an absolutely fantastic model. It's very elegant, and if you are interested in upgrading your Eldar to have this particular model, or you'd like an entire Eldar army just made up and delivered to your doorstep, possibly encased in battle foam, by all means contact our inquiries department. You can find the email in the liner notes of this video, and they can give you a no obligation quote and answer any questions that you may have. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you got your inspiration for the day. P.S. I didn't blow up this Land Raider. Let's take care of that now. So, Crimson Hunter comes on. Let me show you how this works. So Crimson Hunter comes on, lines up the shot. Now remember, the Bright Lances have a 36-inch range, and the Pulse Laser has a 48-inch range. Also, only the Bright Lances have the Lance rule, so don't let an Eldar player grab his 4 dice and tell you that they're all Lance shots, because they are not. So let's go ahead and just take a couple of wings at this. Now, you won't be able to blow up a Land Raider reliably, even with a Crimson Hunter, but you can really put a dent in lighter vehicles. I just picked this heavy one to make a point. So Bright Lances both hit. They have the Lance special rule, so they glance on 4s. So that would be a penetrating hit. 8 plus 5 is 13, and that exceeds the reduced Lance value armor to 12. So penetrating hit, +1 to the roll. That would be an explosion. Isn't that awesome? Didn't even need to get out the Pulse Lasers. Let's do a couple more volleys here. So that would be 2 hits. This is with the Bright Lances. And then let's do hits with the Pulse Laser, which is just straight up 8. So 2 hits with that. So the Pulse Lasers need a 6 to glance. So no glancing hits there. And the Bright Lances need a 4 to glance. So you get a glance in that case. Okay, Bright Lances, 2 hits. And let's do the versus the armor. So that would be nothing. And the Pulse Laser, 2 hits, 6s to glance, no glancing hits. Next shot. Whoops, should have done those separately. Okay, that would be 2 hits for the Bright Lances, 2 hits for the Pulse Lasers. Bright Lances on 4s, that's nothing. Pulse Lasers, that would be nothing. Next shot. Bright Lances, 2 hits. Pulse Lasers, 1 hit. Pulse Laser, no glance. And looking for 4s, that would be a glance and a pen. The pen would result in +1. That would be weapon destroyed. So as you can see, it has almost 100% chance of doing something, and does have an outside chance of actually blowing even a Land Raider's pieces. And against a much more lightly armored foe, I believe that those Pulse Lasers will really swing the odds in your favor. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in.